Good morning. I am Will Berry, Vice Chairman of the Authority, and for today's meeting, acting as Chairman. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to the notice provisions of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act, with all participating Authority members attending in person. While this meeting is open in public, there will be no public comment, as is OTA's longstanding historical practice. In addition to being open to the public for in-person observation, the meeting is being live streamed and recorded for remote viewing. The time is 10 o'clock, and I am calling the September 12, 2023 regular meeting of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority to order. Charity, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Will Berry.
Here.
Mr. Todd Cone.
Here.
Mr. Gene Love. Mr. John Titsworth.
Here.
Ms. Dana Weber.
Here.
Mr. John Jones. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first item of business will be awards. Mr. T.J. Deal.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Authority. With your permission this morning, I would like to see if Larry Patrick could come to the podium for us. He is with the Oklahoma Asphalt Pavers Association to discuss a couple of awards we received today. So with your permission.
Excellent.
Thank you, TJ. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, it's a great morning, isn't it? I'd like to actually talk a little bit about some national awards. I thank you so much for giving us the time to be able to come up here and recognize these awards for the Turnpike Authority on the systems and the paving in Oklahoma. We are very lucky. We have a very good system, very good turnpike system that is really kind of the shining light in a lot of states that I've been talking to and been with in the past. I just want to recognize that National Asphalt Pavement Association has an award in which they call it the Quality in Construction. This actually, once a project gets nominated, this project goes through a process of evaluation and rating and scoring as required by a third-party group of engineers. Last year, 2022, one of these projects was awarded to the Turnpike Authority here. You're going to get, we haven't got the plaque today, but we're going to get it to you all. But this actually was on the Turner Turnpike. It's actually near Stroud. Haskell Lemon Construction was the contractor on this, and it actually is extends by 5 miles, about 23,000 tons. This was a very good job. It was actually won one of our awards on the state level. So thank you very much. This is a great job. Congratulations to OTA and to Haskell Lemon Construction.
Thank you.
The other award we want to talk about is actually the Perpetual Payment Award. The Oklahoma, or the Asphalt Pavement Alliance, which is made up of the National Asphalt Pavement Association, along with the State Asphalt Pavement Associations, along with the Asphalt Institute, has taken the Perpetual Payment Award and actually broken it up into 3 categories. One is actually a perpetual payment by performance. This actually goes with 35-year-old payments plus, and there's also some other criteria. Oklahoma's brought 4 of these back to the state. The second one is actually the perpetual payment by conversion. And this actually is where you use technology and methodology to actually make a payment and rehab it so that it actually acts perpetual. We have one of those too now, as of yesterday. The third one is actually perpetual payment by design. This is where it is designed to be a perpetual payment. I'm very glad to announce today that the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, the Kickapoo Turnpike, has won this award. So congratulations. Haskell Lemon and T.J. Campbell Construction were the 2 contractors on that. And I have a list of design folks that were involved with this very much so. And they actually going to get an award too. Pone Associates, Olson, MKEC, MacArthur and Associates, EST, and CEC. If you all would join me up here, I would like to share these awards with you.
Those are all great rewards, and thank you for all of your all's hard work. The next items from the finance side, and Mr. Cohn, would you present those items? Oh, I'm sorry. Take off my glasses. Maybe that was a problem. So we've all had a chance to review the meeting minutes that were sent out. Or if there's no other questions, is there a motion for approval? Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Thank you, Mrs. Weber. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Cohn,
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth,
Yeah.
Ms. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we're on to the finance items. Mr. Cohn.
With permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd call Amanda Bolden to the podium.
Good morning. Submitted for consideration and approval of the authority is a request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute the second of 3 available one-year extensions to the master service consulting contracts with each of the following 4 staffing firms: Addison Group, InSeed LLC, Side Job Inc., and Summit Consulting LLC. Under the terms of these master service consulting contracts, these firms offer the recruitment and staffing of resources with the necessary skill sets and level of technical expertise to support technology enhancements and maintenance for the authority, including those related to cashless conversion and national interoperability. Staff has reviewed this item and recommend for approval.
Ms. Amanda, are these at the exact same level? So
Yes.
we're not having an increase or anything?
No, it's just extending off our contract. We have 3 one-year extensions that we're doing, and this is the second of the 3.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of item number 1102 as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Weber. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Cohn,
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth,
Yeah.
Ms. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, Mr. Chairman, is item 1103, and Matt Luffelholtz.
Good morning. Submitted for consideration and approval of the authority is a request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute the purchase of storage, ESX host, ESX memory upgrades, and professional services for an amount not to exceed $1,438,566.24. The upgrades to the systems will replace 18 hardware, provide additional memory and capacity, and a higher grade processor to help with our increased data size to support cashless tolling and national interoperability. Staff has reviewed this item and recommended for approval. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? If there are none, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion for approval of item number 1103 as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Weber. Charity, would you please call vote?
Mr. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Cohn,
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth,
Yeah.
Ms. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Chairman, at item number 1104, Micah Gardner.
Good morning. Item 1104 is the payment register prepared by the Comptroller Division. This includes all payments made by OTA for the month of July 2023. Staff has reviewed this item and recommends for approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Everybody's had a chance to see this. Any questions? If there are none, then, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of item number 1104 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second. Second?
Thank you, Mrs. Weber. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Cohn,
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth,
Yeah.
Ms. Weber.
Yes.
Thank you, Micah.
Thank you. Our next items are from the engineering and construction. Mrs. Weber will be presenting these.
The first item is item number 1105, and Ms. Nelson will be presenting this item.
Good morning, Vice Chairman Berry, members of the authority, Secretary Gatz. Today I'm presenting item 1105 on behalf of Construction Division. Submitted are 5 items for your consideration of approval. First, we have GCT 2500. This is on the Gilcrease Expressway. Contractor is Gilcrease Developers for the supplemental agreement number 27 for the agreed amount of $145,885.06. The supplemental agreement adds 9 new items to compensate the contractor for additional work. An item was needed to construct a new landing area and ramp for the pedestrian trail at Charles Page Boulevard to obtain ADA compliance at the Sand Springs Railroad crossing. Additional earthwork and pipe drainage were added to avoid a utility conflict with the existing fiber line at 41st Street. Divider strip and curb were added to remove a raised median on South 57th Street to resolve an issue with local business access and address safety concerns. Retaining wall end treatments were added to protect the ends of MSC Wall Number 2 from the pedestrian trail that was unaccounted for in the original plans. Riprap was added at drainage structure number 24 near the northbound 41st Street off-ramp to prevent erosion. A rock and grass bottom ditch was added at 26th Street to accept additional off-site drainage from an adjacent property and direct the flow of water from the street. A slope drain was relocated at the southwest corner of Bridge T to drain the water flowing from the bridge and prevent erosion. Additional concrete and curb were added to widen the radius of a business access driveway off of West 51st Street to allow adequate turning radius for semi-trucks entering and exiting the street. Lastly, an earthwork item was added to revise the grading section on West 54th Street and South 57th West Avenue to meet the existing grade to an adjacent property.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Does anybody have any questions?
I think she has a couple more on
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, sorry, that was the first one. Okay.
Next, we have HEB MC 67. This is the AT conversion and State Highway Bridge rehabilitation. The contractor is Dewitt Construction. This is for supplemental agreement number 2 for the agreed amount of $107,098.54. The supplemental agreement adds 7 new items to the contract to compensate the contractor for additional work. Adjust inlet to grade was needed to raise an existing inlet of the planned final elevation to allow for proper drainage. Sign supports are being added as they were inadvertently left out of the original plans and are needed to attach the new signage to the overhead monotube structures throughout the project. Removal of asphalt pavement under concrete is being added due to the discovering of a confined area of asphalt under the existing concrete pavement at the Norman Spur, which had to be removed for the installation of the new tolling equipment and was unaccounted for in the plans. Aggregate base type A is being added for the use of base at State Highway number 5 at the entrance and exit ramps to replace an uncovered brick median under the existing concrete median. 2-inch PVC conduit and 1C number 4 electrical conductor are also being added to relocate existing lighting conduit at the Norman Spur and the Newcastle Toll Plaza locations, which were in conflict with the new toll gantry footings. The supplemental agreement also adds an item to fund the early completion incentive for Milestone A, H.E. Bailey Spur Mainline AET, and Milestone C, Newcastle Mainline AET per contract special provision 108-220A-C19. Milestone A was completed on February 24th, 2023, earning a maximum incentive of 10 days at $2,000 per day for a total of $20,000. Milestone C was completed on January 31st, 2023, earning a maximum 10 days of incentive at $2,000 per day for a total of $20,000. Questions? Next item we have is TER 037. This is the emergency repair on Bridge 31.3 in Lincoln County. Contractor is Built-Right Construction. This is for change order number 1 for the agreed amount of $60,000. This change order is needed to fund the early completion incentive of Milestone A, Chandler westbound entrance ramp, and Milestone B, Chandler westbound exit ramp per contract special provision. Milestone A was completed on July 15th, 2023, on day 5 out of 15 allowable days to earn a total incentive at $3,000 per day for 10 days for a total of $30,000. Milestone B was also completed on July 15th, 2023, on day 5 out of 15 allowable days to earn a total incentive of $3,000 per day for 10 days for a total of $30,000. Next, we have TMC 107D2. This is on the Turner Turnpike at State Highway 66 in Tulsa and Creek counties. Contractor Sherwood Construction. This is for change order number 2 for a time extension of 107 days. This change order adds the time extension of 107 B-bid days and contract days to the contract. 63 days were added due to cement shortages affecting the fabrication of MSC wall panels 1 and 2. Delay of fabrication of MSC panels wall and 2 impacted critical path operations as it delayed wall installation and adjacent pavement reconstruction of US 66 over the Turner Turnpike. 23 days are also being added due to roadway vertical curve elevations conflicting with adjacent cast-in-place wall elevations. Wall 6 installation and eastbound Turner Turnpike roadway installations were paused until a new design was approved. 8 days are added for necessary rock excavation in conflict with the plain drainage structures as described in supplemental agreement number 4. 13 days are added for the rerouting of drainage pipe between structure 34 and structure 36 to avoid conflict with the monotube footing. Rerouting of this drainage structure resulted in delays of necessary backfill and mainline pavement reconstruction. This change order settles all time delays encountered to date. Last item we have is WRMC 124. This is the grade drain surface and bridge for County Road North-South 4410 near Veneta. Contractor is Sherwood Construction. This is for supplemental agreement number 2 and change order number 3 for the agreed amount of $51,906.60. This also has a time extension of 10 days. This supplemental agreement adds 1 new item to compensate the contractor for additional work. This work includes sealing the transverse construction joints of the new north-south 4410 bridge deck over the Will Rogers Turnpike near Veneta, inadvertently left out of the original contract items, and is needed to prevent water from entering the pavement system. This work includes sealer crack preparation and sealer resin. This change order also adds additional quantity for solid slab sodding needed to properly stabilize the disturbed area of the project in accordance with the SWIP permit requirements. This change order also overruns a fence-style woven wire fence needed at the northeast and southeast corners of the bridge to close the gaps created by the removal of the old bridge. Additionally, this change order adds 10 B-bid days to the contract. Due to multiple other projects requiring nighttime closures in the vicinity of the projects of the Will Rogers Turnpike, the OTA requested that the contractor delay the planned existing demo of 10 days to avoid multiple lane closures in sequence and increase the safety of the traveling public. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just a comment. Number 1, I think it's great to see that all these change orders and supplemental agreements still are relatively small and let's compare reference to the size of these projects. The second thing I just would like to comment is all of these change orders have been carefully reviewed by the staff and negotiated, not just accepted when they're requested.
Correct.
To get the results that we're happy with. So I appreciate all that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right, well, in light of the staff having reviewed and requested approval of these items, I move for approval of these items.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
Thank you.
The next item is also Ms. Nelson's, item 1106.
Item 1106 is is submitted for the authority's consideration, is a request of the following items be approved. We have the system-wide cashless tolling conversion, the on-demand modification number 2 for construction management, testing, and inspection. The consultant is Poe and Associates. This is for the not-to-exceed amount of $1,386,351.00. This modification is for the additional funds of the contract service agreement. This amount due under the contract modification number 2 shall not exceed $1,386,351.00. This revises the contract amount from $2,041,286.00 to $3,427,637.00. Excuse me. Additional staff and consultant engineer have reviewed the above items and recommend approval. This item is for the time extension of the Cimarron Turnpike, in addition for the construction management of the Indian Nation as well.
Okay. Any questions on this item? All right, hearing none, based on the review and request for approval, I move for approval of this item.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes. All right, and Ms. Nelson, you have the next item also.
Yes. The last item on behalf of Construction Vision is 1107, submitted for the authority's consideration as a request of the following items be approved. This is for GCT 2501CM, modification number 3 for construction management services on the Gilcrease Turnpike. The consultant is EST for the not-to-exceed amount of $497,206.00. This modification is for the additional funds of the contract services agreement. This amount due under the contract modification number 3 shall not exceed $497,206.00. This revises the contract amount from $18,280,826 to $18,778,032.00. Construction staff and consulting engineer have reviewed the above items and recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Any questions? Hearing none, in light of the proposal for approval, I recommend approval of this item.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Thank
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. The next item, item 1108, I ask for Mr. Darian Butler to please come forward.
Good morning, Ms. Weber, members of the board. Good to see everyone this morning. Engineering Division has one item we'd like to present for consideration here today. That's item 1108, which includes 5 construction contract awards. First project there is TMC 128C. This is grade drain bridge and surface on the Turner Turnpike in Lincoln County. Project includes the construction of a 1-mile-long frontage road, retaining wall, and the reconstruction of Old Stroud Road and TPU Bridge 43.4. As you can see there, we had 6 bidders on the project. Sherwood Construction is our low bidder in the amount of $8,317,179.96, and this is about 5.5% below the engineer's estimate. Also included in this is about $1.8 million that'll be coming from the city of Stroud for their portion of this project. So some good bids there. Second project is TMC 131. This is grade drain bridge and surface on the Turner Turnpike over State Highway 66 in Lincoln County. Project includes the construction of a tunnel-length bridge over State Highway 66, reconstruction of State Highway 66, Turner Turnpike reconstruction and widening, relocation of the westbound exit ramp, tolling infrastructure, reconstruction of the park and ride parking lot, and the county road detour. Had 2 bidders on this project. Sherwood Construction was our low bidder, the amount of $47,815,555.84, and they were about 10.4% below our engineer's estimate. Also included in this project is ODOT, since it's related and connected here to State Highway 66. So they'll be funding about $8.3 million of this construction amount. Our third project here is CMC 30. This is Bridge 22.5 rehabilitation, Cimarron Turnpike, and this is over the BNSF Railroad. Again, rehabilitation of Bridge 22.5 at milepost 22.5 and the installation of cable barrier in Noble County. Project includes replacement of the deck, parapet, beams, bearings, guardrails, substructure repairs, and installation of 3.5 miles of cable barrier. Had 4 bidders on the project. Low bidder was Frontier Bridge, the amount of $9,718,267.05. And this one's just a little bit over the engineer's estimate, about 6.2%. Our fourth project here is SP 70, our Oklahoma Monuments projects. This is fabrication and installation of 8 Oklahoma monuments at service plazas on the H.E. Bailey, Turner, Cimarron, Will Rogers, Muskogee, and Indian Nation turnpikes. We had 3 bidders on this project. Cantera Concrete Company was our low bid, the amount of $368,960, and they were about 7.8% below the engineer's estimate. And if you've seen the Oklahoma Welcome monuments at some of our welcome centers around the state, it's very similar to those. It'll be a little bit smaller, but very similar to those, and we'll be putting those at our service plazas. Last one here, our 5th project for construction contract award this morning is item C62G. This is installation of 17 miles of cable barrier from milepost 17 to milepost 34 in Pushmataha County on the Indian Nation Turnpike. Had 4 bidders on the project. Robinson Construction's our low bid, the amount of $10,417,100.70, and they were quite a bit below the engineer's estimate, about 19.4% below the estimate.
I was going to say, 4 of those 5 projects were way below. Is that
Yeah.
a sign of the times, you think? as
Hopefully
far
so.
as-
Yeah, it bounces around a lot, so let's not get too used to it.
Well, maybe from a labor perspective or something,
Right,
you know?
yeah, they're
Okay.
good. Yeah, we got pretty lucky this go around. But if I may, Ms. Weber, I'd like to maybe just give a little bit of a cable barrier update.
Yes, please.
With this project and the 3.5 miles that I presented a couple minutes ago, included with the bridge project there, we just have 1 project left to let to construction. There should just be 1 more cable barrier project to complete our initiative. So kind of a summary of that is we've completed 21 projects since 2013 to the tune of about 250 miles, to the tune of about $80 million for completed work. We've got 3 projects that are in various stages of construction that total about 54 miles and almost $25 million, and then 1 project left, and it'll be 18 miles on the Indian Nation Turnpike. So all in total, 25 projects, 321 miles, and a little over $113 million. To date, this has been hit. We tracked this from our maintenance crews. It's been hit 2,000. We've made repairs 2,386 of them. So those are all potential crossover accidents that could have been involving another vehicle or even a fatality potentially. So feel like this is a safety feature that you can install and see immediate results, and we've certainly seen the results over the last decade.
Thank you. That is absolutely awesome, Darian, and to know that we're this close. I mean, in 2013, I wasn't here, but I imagine that seemed like a faraway goal, but we're finally here.
Absolutely.
And while those cable barriers might not look like much, having watched a video of a semi-truck get prevented from crossing over the median by one of these, really sold me on the value of them, besides the fact that of all the hits and the fatalities we've probably avoided.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree.
Very awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
With that, I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, based on staff's review and approval of these items, I recommend, or I move for approval of these items.
Well, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yeah.
Ms. Weber?
Yes. All right, the next item, item number 1109, Mr. Gore.
Good morning, Ms. Weber. Today I present item 1109, declare surplus property and authorize the director to sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of the same. The following parcels consist of approximately acres and locations identified below with previous acquired by the authority. Parcel number CM 105, Tract B, in Section 9, Township 20 North, Range 5 East, 2.3 acres on the Cimarron Turnpike in Pawnee County. Staff review of the property was conducted and it has been determined that a portion of the described parcels and approximate acres identified was acquired as unlicensed remnant and is not needed for any construction or maintenance needs of the Turnpike system. Based on that determination, staff recommends that the authority consider and vote and declare the above described parcel to be surplus and authorize the director to obtain a survey, appraisal, and sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of the property, including in a land swap to acquire other property needed for a Turnpike system. That answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Gore?
This seems like the first square piece we've ever seen.
Yes, I did notice
Every
that.
now and then we get those, again.
All right. Thank you. Based on the recommendation of staff, I move for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Gore. And my final item is item number 1110, Mr. Kalka.
Good morning, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the authority. Item 1110 is submitted for consideration of the authority is a request for the following blanket purchase request for snow and ice removal supplies be approved and issued to the low bidders listed below. We have two contractors providing our medium grade salt. The first one's Central Salt, not to exceed amount of $1,827,282. Hutchinson Salt, not to exceed $283,198. Might note that salt has increased 85 cents per ton this year. Majority of that is related to transportation cost. Excuse me. We actually have a bid amount each year.
Has the total tonnage?
Well, the total tonnage that's bid on is 26,425 tons. And again, that's usually just based for bidding purposes.
And that's spread?
Yes. And then for our Class A sand, we have rock haulers, not to exceed $182,490. Muskogee sand, not to exceed $186,600. And Law Transportation, not to exceed $240,060. Our lone magnesium chloride provider is Scott Industries, not to exceed $304,055.60, and a total amount of not to exceed $3,023,685.60. These items are budgeted to be funded out of the revenue fund and are recommended for approval.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, based on staff's recommendation for approval, I move to approve. Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. Charity, would you call the vote, please?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Kalka.
Our next item is our monthly reports, and the first up is the Highway Patrol Report. Mr. Major Eric Kennedy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Secretary Gatz, Director E. Kelly, members of the authority. For the month of July, troopers made 4,029 violator contacts. We assisted 638 motorists and investigated 148 collisions. We worked 925 shifts for a total of just over 177,000 miles. We did have 2 fatalities, one on the, one on the Creek Turnpike. It was a double fatality. We did have 6 criminal interdictions, and I've included information about enforcement and collision reduction efforts in the report. I do want to point out for the current month, just to kind of demonstrate our team effort and our hopes to continue to be good partners as you are to us. Troop S, our commercial motor vehicle enforcement, during the last month, August, they worked 836 hours on all turnpikes and produced 609 inspections. So really got out there and got after it. So I will stand for any questions.
Did we finish the academy?
The academy is finished. They will finish training, and the troopers that will be assigned to the Turnpike will report October 1st.
Fantastic. And how many will we get?
19.
Fantastic.
Yeah. They're all making it through.
Okay.
Great news. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next report is our engineering report. Mr. Jimmy Sparks.
Good morning, Vice Chairman Barry, members of the authority, Secretary Gatz. Concerning the trust required services, we'll be submitting our 2023 annual report to staff on October 1st. We are currently coordinating with engineering, maintenance, and finance staff to provide any final recommendations or changes to the 5-year capital plan. I often talk about the importance of the capital planning process and the need for reinvestment into our system, and you know, the trust agreement talks about the reserve maintenance requirements and the consulting engineer certifying the minimum reinvestment. So some numbers, some stats here that, you know, 68% of our Turnpike payments are approaching 50 years or older, and half of the 867 bridges on the system fall into that category. It kind of further, we further understand the need for the continued reinvestment. So the OTA's commitment to that capital planning process and reinvestment has really seen our service level ratings for pavements and bridges actually increase over the last 20-plus year period. So I always want to stress the importance of the reinvestment, and would note that with the approval of contract TMC 131 today, when that is completed, that will remove our only fracture-critical bridge structures on the system. So happy to see that. In August, our engineers checked 10 overload trucks for travel on the system. There were no special inspections in the month of August due to overheight impacts, but we did provide some follow-up site inspections to request of maintenance on the Creek, Indian Nation, Muskogee, and Will Rogers Turnpikes, and discuss those findings with maintenance and engineering to determine the path forwards for those. So, as always, our capital plan project summaries in our monthly report, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Jimmy. Next report is our trustee report, presented by Mrs. Singleton.
Good morning, Vice Chair and board members. As bond trustee to the authority, all monthly debt service transfers were made for the semi-annual payment to the bondholders as required by the trust agreement. To our knowledge, all other requirements set forth in the trust agreement have been satisfied. Questions of my report?
I don't have any questions. Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next report is from the operating results and financial condition. Mrs. Smith.
Vice Chairman Barry, Secretary Gatz, members of the authority, you've all received your operations report for July prepared by the Comptroller Division, and I'm happy to report that net toll revenues, I'm going to try and slow down, for July 2023 on the system reported at just under $33 million, an increase of 9.6% as compared to July of 2022. Additionally, year-to-date toll revenues continue to outpace budgeted projections by 2.9%, and year-to-date 2022 toll revenues by 3.3%. I also took a preview of the Gilcrease Expressway traffic for August, and being a commuter turnpike, the weekday averaged to about 21,613 per day for August, with overall about 19,780 when you consider all the days. So I kind of wanted to talk about, why do we look this healthy? With the national economy continuing to improve, total transactions showed an increase of 5.5% over July 22. But heavy truck traffic continued with double-digit increases, close to 17% when you compare it to the previous year. It's important to note that truck revenues actually constituted 40% of our total revenues for 2022. So it's really important part of our revenues. So these increases to heavy truck traffic have continued as the nation continues to recover from the effects of the COVID pandemic, and could level out, according to our traffic and revenue engineer. I talked to him this morning about it. Also, the Bureau of Transportation Statistics shows stable growth, particularly in its seasonally adjusted monthly truck tonnage index, that's a mouthful, which, although showing a slight dip in truck traffic around February, has shown it's continuing to grow month over month since that time. August truck traffic for the authority also mirrored this. I took a look at that this morning. The OTA continues to maintain a conservative approach to spending. Collectively for the year, the managers held their revenue fund expenses to 12.5% under their 2023 operating and maintenance budget, and we continue to steadily achieve and exceed the trust-required senior and total debt revenues ratios. And as we continue to do, we will continue to make monitoring of the system's traffic and revenue a top priority and respond accordingly to any changes in the traffic composition. Because again, truck traffic is really important. I'll take any questions.
Any questions? I will tell you that driving up here this morning, it just felt crowded.
Yeah, it always
Right, it
does,
is.
right? And that's why we
Yes.
need to add the lanes on the Turner.
I
so,
would 100%
yes,
agree.
right. Okay, and that's really, all of this is really important, talking to the traffic engineer, especially with us going into this program. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. The next report is from Secretary Gatz.
Vice Chairman Barry, board members, I want to pause for just a second, and number one, I want to thank Larry Patrick for being here with the Asphalt Paving Association and express our appreciation. But I also want to make sure that we fully recognize the significance of the hardware over here on this table, because what it reflects is both care of existing pavements and quality in construction of new pavements. And the translation there is it has to be designed properly, and that's the engineering team, TJ and Darren and our consultant partners that help us with that. It has to be constructed properly, and that's Haskell Lemon, TJ Campbell, and the other construction contractor partners that work with us to make sure that we get a quality end result. And then, and really, when you look at life cycle, most importantly, it's Mark Kalka and his team and how we maintain the work that we accomplish out there on the Turnpike network. And over history, if you look back, the Turnpike Authority has always maintained a very high-quality network in good condition. As Jimmy Sparks pointed out this morning, we've got a bridge replacement project that's going to address one of our worst bridges. And you recommended award for that this morning and approved it. That's going to move forward. But again, it's important to emphasize that that outcome is not just a reflection of the project that was accomplished out there. It's a reflection of that team working together to make sure that the patrons of the Turnpike network get a quality end result. And that's something we work really hard at. And I didn't want to walk away from the podium today without acknowledging these are national level recognitions, not local, not state. These are national level recognitions. So quality work, job well done by all involved and engaged, and we will continue our efforts. Yesterday, we were in front of the Council of Bond Oversight, and that was related to the Turnpike Authority's application to issue $500 million in bonds. We received a conditional approval from the Council of Bond Oversight. As those conditions are met, and again, we have some variables that are left to resolve, but as those conditions are met, we'll move quickly into the bond market. I want to emphasize that once our bonds are sold, only then will we restart our engineering and design work related to the Access Long Range Plan. That the access to that revenue is critical in our ability to restart and re-engage. So that is pending. We are going to follow all of our due diligence requirements regarding every element of work on Access Oklahoma, and that includes completing some of the studies that are ongoing that may have been paused. We'll continue to meet with our stakeholders, and we're going to continue working with all our partners at the local, state, and at the federal level. It's important to note that OTA, as we've stated all along, will continue to follow all applicable state and federal laws throughout the process. And that's something we're very cognizant of and very mindful of. There continues to be a lot of misinformation about the program, certainly about the Turnpike Authority's fiscal practices. We think a lot of the misinformation related to is a lack of understanding of what our trust indenture requires and how the Turnpike Authority truly operates and the care that we take in all of our operations. We want to assure you and the public, again, that our internal controls and policies help us ensure that we stay in compliance and that we follow all best practices. This is how we're able to maintain some of the highest financial ratings among turnpikes nationally, while continuing to work hard and keep our toll rates low. And again, I can't emphasize enough, when you look at our toll rates comparatively, we're going to be more than 60% now below the national average. You know, the Access Oklahoma program is going to require some prudent consideration for future toll rate increases, and we will do that as we always do. But that's what's required to make an additional investment back into the network. So again, just wanted to give you a bit of an update there with the Council Bond Oversight meeting yesterday, and we look forward to continuing to make progress on Access Oklahoma with consideration for the due diligence and the conditions that COBO provided. So, something else that has, and this is my opinion alone, is flying under the radar a little bit, is the problem that we have nationwide with fentanyl. And, you know, when you look at that problem, fentanyl is, among the ages of 18 to 50, one of the largest killers in the United States due to fentanyl overdose. We partnered with the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse and are working now to install the naloxone vending machines across the Turnpike network at the service plazas. And that's something that, you know, at a cabinet meeting about 6 months ago, we sat and the governor brought in some folks from the health department and mental health and substance abuse to talk about this problem. And I was certainly not familiar as I should have been with the challenges that our country is experiencing right now with not only the illegal sale and use of these manufactured drugs, but also the dangers that we encounter potentially every day, especially in our operations where we've got folks out there in harm's way that constantly are stopping to do motorist assist, working accidents in conjunction with our first responder partners, our troopers and others. And after hearing that presentation, I came back to the Turnpike Authority and had a visit with Joe and the team, and we recognized how important this is. So again, that partnership is critical to us. This gives us one more avenue maybe to save some lives. And we talk so much about the safety of the traveling public on the Turnpike network. This goes beyond the Turnpike network. This is an occurrence where if you have access to this remedy, you live in most cases. If you don't, you very well can die. So that's how serious this is. That's how serious we take it. Not only are we working with the mental health and substance abuse to put these vending machines in, we're making sure that our first aid kits have this available to our employees. Because again, it can be the difference between life and death. And we take that very seriously. So again, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update there. Again, we are at such high risk of even an accidental exposure that I worry about our employees and our people, but at the same time, you never know when we may encounter somebody in need. So again, we made this a priority. I want to thank Joe and the team specifically for carrying that forward and getting this done, because again, it was something that just, I was dumbfounded as I sat and listened to the presentation that was made at the cabinet meeting, and it really emphasized to me how important this is. And again, it's not getting the attention that it should. So, talk a little bit about plate pay. The Muskogee Turnpike cashless conversion was successfully completed on August 29th. The lane closures through early 2024 will continue as we remove some of the toll booths and convert some of the former cash lanes. I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about why we're moving to cashless tolling. And again, it's the safety of the traveling public that's driving this conversation. The technology has existed for a long period of time, but this is the way that we can implement true open road tolling and create the safest environment that we can out on the Turnpike network. So I very much appreciate your support. This increases the convenience of our customers so they can pay online without having to try to accomplish that while they're driving. And we've got 3 more turnpikes remaining to convert by the end of 2024, and that's the I-44 Turner, I-44 Will Rogers, and the Indian Nation Turnpike. We want to ask that all Pike Pass account holders please keep their account information up to date. They especially will want to make sure that their license plate number is listed on their accounts. That's very important as we move into this plate pay cashless environment. That listing of your license plate number associated with your Pike Pass really helps us make sure that you're getting properly charged on the Pike Pass and not rolled up into plate pay. That's been a little bit problematic, so we're going to continue to emphasize that please make sure that your license plate on your vehicles is associated with your Pike Pass account. For former cash customers, they can still go online to platepay.com and look up their license plate number, see if they owe any tolls. The tolls can be paid through a guest payment option or by calling our customer service team at 1-800-PIKE-PASS. Marcus and his crew continue to do a great job in working very carefully and closely with patrons of Plate Pay. And first and foremost, we recommend that they convert to Pike Pass because that's the absolute best value for traveling on the Turnpike. But they also recognize that not everybody is wanting to do that, so they take care of every customer and continue to do a great job. So the program is already successful, but we want to make sure to emphasize also that it only makes up about 6% of our overall toll revenues. So again, as we move into this, we are certainly coming to understand some new challenges. But we're working hard to overcome and resolve those challenges, and we absolutely will. And again, this is just in its infancy, and we're going to continue to work hard to resolve whatever issue may arise, and I'm very proud of the team and the work that we've done to move this forward. And I'll emphasize it again, there is no worse feeling than the feeling I had on the morning when we had an ambulance crash into the Newcastle Toll Plaza. As we stood out there and had a clear understanding that that was one of our employees in a toll booth. Those were Turnpike patrons in the ambulance. Thank goodness there was no fatalities as a result of that. This is the absolute right thing to do for the Turnpike Authority and for the folks that use the Turnpike network. So. Project awards, I appreciate your consideration of Darren's recommendations on contract awards today. The I-44 and Turner Turnpike over Route 66 at Wellston, there in Lincoln County, is a major improvement. The significance of that is, and TJ and LaDan and Jeff and the engineering team that are going to build this in conjunction with our contractor partner, we got to have this done by 2026 when we have the centennial celebration of State Highway 66. I'm 100% confident that they'll accomplish that. But this will be, once again, one of the partnerships that we have with the Department of Transportation. We're going to improve an interchange. We're going to get a bad bridge that served us very well over time off the system, and we're going to replace it with an iconic Route 66 structure. So again, I'm excited about the opportunity here. I'm excited about getting this work done in advance of the centennial celebration, and I think we've got a great opportunity to put our best foot forward. Not only are we replacing that bridge. We're also working on the interchange to make it more functional. So we're moving the westbound exit ramp, and we're also going to reconstruct the park and ride parking lot that's there at that location and reconfigure it. So it's going to be a great project for us, and we're looking forward to getting started and getting it done. Also, the 8 Oklahoma Welcome Monuments at our service plazas, you know, that's a partnership with the Oklahoma Tourism Department and Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. And I want to really put an exclamation point on his vision for the state of Oklahoma and putting our best foot forward at not only our welcome centers, but the Turnpike travel plazas. These are iconic monuments, and they give travelers an opportunity to take selfies and help us advertise what a wonderful place that Oklahoma is. And we take pride in the state, and this gives us just one more way to give people a chance to stop and create a little bit of a memory here in the state of Oklahoma. So I very much appreciate the board's support and award of that contract and the work that the guys did on getting that ready. And finally, from a safety campaign standpoint, I want to talk a little bit about you know, going back to school. As we get back into session with school activities, we see more and more travel out there on the Turnpike networks and across the state. Take a moment to offer a few reminders about some of the vehicles that you share the road with, in particular some of our large commercial trucks, and remind the traveling public that you have to be careful. Trucks cannot maneuver as easily and certainly take significantly more time to stop. So if you've got an 80,000-pound truck out there that's traveling at the speed limit, you've got to recognize that they can't stop on a dime. They can't maneuver very well, and that means we need to give them plenty of space and be exceptionally careful. At the same time, I know that the troopers work hard to make sure, and you heard Major Kennedy talk about some of the work that they're doing out on the Turnpike network to help us make sure that the commercial vehicles that are traveling out there are safe. So again, we appreciate their assistance, but we also, again, ask that the traveling public be very mindful, put away distractions, buckle that seatbelt, and be as safe as you possibly can out there on the Turnpike network. So with that, Mr. Vice Chairman, I would stand for any questions, comments that the board may have of me.
I think it was a great report. Are there any other questions?
I have a couple of comments. One, I only know probably what everybody else knows about the fentanyl issue, and that it's scary. And I'm not sure what I guess the question I would have is, who is doing something to make people aware that these vending machines are there? Because if I wasn't sitting here today, I wouldn't know it.
We've actually gotten, and thanks to the media participation, we've gotten pretty good media coverage that the machines are available at the travel plazas. As that implementation has continued, and Joe, I'm not sure if we've got them all in yet across the network, but that's work in progress. The vending machines themselves are unmistakable. If I recall correctly, they're pink, and they stand out very much. They include not only the naloxone, that's a tough word for me, but they include that and a test strip. And the first question I had was, why in the world would you need a test strip? And the response is, if you have somebody, and addiction is not good, but it is part of our society. That test strip gives you the opportunity, if you are using these drugs, to test to make sure that it's not a dose of fentanyl that'll kill you. So again, I understand that now, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you that the remedy that's there and represented is far more important to us. And so the vending machines will stand out. The Department of Transportation is working right now with the Tourism and Recreation Department to deploy these also at the Welcome Center locations, and they're taking similar steps to make sure that this is in every first aid kit, so.
Yeah, the people that need it most, the users, might not pay attention to the media, so we'll have to get that to people that will be around them, I guess is the.
Yeah, and we'll continue to work on that and make sure that word's out there. And the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, they've really picked up this mantle, and I think, I'd tell you, they're doing a great job of trying to get the word out there, and they're taking this as serious as it is. And again, I want to commend them for the work they're doing. And Joe, certainly, you've worked a lot closer with them, but add to that.
So a couple of things about it. Right now, we have 2 installed that are at Veneta, with goals of getting them installed throughout the rest of our network in places where our patrons stop on the Turnpike. So it's just an added feature that we're able to utilize. The vending machines themselves self-notify the supplier, so when it gets low in volume, they will be notified to come and restock. There's no cost. I used one of the vending machines as a demo, and you're requested to put in your, no, the vending machines. Yeah, you can tell everybody's paying attention. When I start to talk, everybody starts listening. So you put in your zip code, and whether you want the test strips or the reversal. I can't say the word very well either, but it's a reversal drug. And I'm going to mess up the story, but it's a shock story. At the time we signed the agreement for this, what I was told was there had been 800 reversals, and I thought, well, that's probably in the last 5 years and maybe across the entire state. And they said that there have been 800 reversals in the last year in Oklahoma County by the fire department. Just one county, 800 reversals using that drug. It's very important, not only for people who are exposed to the drug regularly or because they're using drugs, but for people who are here, people who are listening to this online, to put it in your purse, put it in your car. You just never know when you might get exposed. So thought I'd share that.
Yeah, there are accidental exposures too, not people intentionally getting it.
And these, the fentanyl is being manufactured to mimic prescription drugs. So you don't understand what you're getting, and they're illegal, obviously. But again, that's the danger in it, is it is so easy to get an overdose, and the control of the strength of this fentanyl is whenever it's manufactured outside a highly regulated and highly controlled environment, again, one dose can absolutely devastate you. So,
my second comment is the awards, I think, are absolutely fantastic, but I think that the comment that I want to echo from my many years of being on the board is, and the misunderstanding that's out there, is the absolute quality, dedication, devotion, unbelievable full engagement of the people at the Turnpike Authority, who really care about what they're doing and really feel that they are doing a service for the state of Oklahoma. And Mark Kalka was particularly mentioned because of the maintenance and so forth, and he and his team and the construction team and the customer service team and everybody else, finance team, just, it's amazing. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for your dedication every single day. You make a difference.
Hear, hear.
That was it.
That's it. Are there any other questions? Our next meeting is scheduled for, well, thank you, Secretary Gatz. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023 at 10 o'clock a.m. I'll stand for, move for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Charity, would you please call the vote?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Cone?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Thank you. We're adjourned.